of the Riff Rundown. I hope this is finding you and yours doing well this weekend. My name is Petrilli, here with my friends at Fishman for a brand new episode of the Riff Rundown. Today's episode is pre-recorded, but don't worry, we're still going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to be learning Like a Rolling Stone by the legend himself, Mr. Bob Dylan. So I have an acoustic guitar today. If you want to use an electric guitar, you absolutely can. If you want to use a 12-string, awesome. He plays this so many different ways on so many different guitars, so I encourage you. Whatever you got, it's going to sound great. As long as it's in standard tuning, you are good to go. And as always, you guys are enjoying the lessons. Please be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really does help the cause and helps the algorithm, helps get these lessons out there for other folks to learn how to play guitar. And while you're there, if you want to check out all the cool Fishman gear that I use in these lessons, including the RS Spectrum DI, you can go ahead and click the link in the video description below. And while you are there, I also started a Patreon page. So it's a beautiful extension of what we do here on the Riff Rundown here on YouTube. So I encourage you, while you're there, go ahead and check it out. We'd love to see you there. So before we get started, you know I like to ask a question. So please let me know where you are tuning in from and your favorite Bob Dylan song. So where you're tuning in from, favorite Bob Dylan song, acoustic, electric guitar, 12-string guitar, whatever you got, as long as it's in standard tuning, go ahead and get it tuned up and ready to go. So here we go. Here is Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. So there's the tune today. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to get through the intro, verse, pre-chorus, and chorus. And as always, when we have a little extra time, I like to give you guys some different options that you can do when you're playing with other musicians. Really important to know and build our musical syntax with our chords. So let's go ahead and get started here. So as far as the intro goes, we're going to deal with technically 4 chords. Could you only use 2? Absolutely, but it's always good to really build up our playing. So I'm going to play the intro just a little bit slower than I did at the top. So it's going to go like this. I'm going to play a C chord, an F major 7 over C to an F sus2, and then to a C sus2, back to C. So that's going to sound like this. A little bit slower. Now, if that is a little too difficult for you right now, no problem. Okay, we can play this even easier. You could just do C and F, and no problem. All right. So we're going to start with our C chord. Okay, so I'm going to use these 3 fingers here. Okay, so first finger, first fret of the B string, which we know to be C. Our second finger, go ahead and place that on the E note, second fret of the D string. Third finger reaches up to the 3rd fret of the A string, which is C. Strum from the A string downward. The chord should sound like this. Our tonal centers that we are looking for are C, E, and G, the 1, 3, 5, and they're all here, okay? And with this chord, I like to do a down, 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 up, okay, to kind of kick things just like that, okay? So from there, we're gonna play an F major 7 over C. This sounds like a scary chord that may be difficult to play, when in fact it's not. Let me show you. Leave your first finger where it is. We're gonna use it as a pivot finger. But what we're gonna do is, I want you to place your second finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. That's gonna be an A note, okay? Your 3rd finger is going to stay on the 3rd fret of the A string, C, and your 4th finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the D string, F. So we are going to strum this from the A string downward, including the high E string that is open. Pretty chord, isn't it? So just like that. So that's the chord we want. Going from C, okay, so there it is there. Now what we're gonna do to play the F sus2, all you're gonna do here is just lift up that 2nd finger. We're gonna expose that open G note. And if you happen to get that high E string, all the better. Another stunning chord, okay? And what we're gonna do here, let's go ahead and play those 3 chords now. And playing that F major 7, okay, to that F sus2, we're just gonna do 2 downward strokes there. Let's do that again. From there, we're gonna repeat the F major 7, okay, to that F sus2. Just like that. So let's play that together. To repeat the cycle going back, okay, to the top, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna play a C sus2. So all that is, play a regular C chord just like this. All you're gonna do is lift that 2nd finger. We wanna play that open D string. And then we hammer on with that 2nd finger to hit that E note. This is optional. I think it sounds really great, so I really encourage you guys. It may be tough in the beginning. You can't play anything fast, you can't play slow. So I encourage you, take your time. If it is difficult, that is okay. Enjoy the journey. I love sus2 chords, they sound great. So let's go ahead and play that whole intro nice and slowly here. All the chords, here we go. A little faster now. Now, if that's too hard for you, like I said a couple moments ago, C to F, or that F major 7 if you want, totally cool, okay? But the sus2 chords sound pretty great. So here it is, a little faster. So that's our intro. It's going to be repeated 4 times. Okay. So then now we get into our verse. The chord switches are going to be a little bit quicker. The chords that we are dealing with in the verses is going to be C to D minor, E minor to F to G. Okay, and that's going to be repeated a couple times. So I'm going to play it through just a little bit slower than I did at the top, and it's going to sound like this. So again, really cool series of chords. So let me show you how we're going to play this. So we got our C chord. We already know how to play that. From there, we're going to go to a D minor. So this is our 2 chords. So we are in the key of C major in this song. So check out what's happening here in this verse. It's kind of cool. So we do our 1 chord. Then we go to our D minor, which is our 2 chord, showing you how to play it here. First finger on the 1st fret of the E string, F. second finger on the second fret of the G string A, third finger, third fret of the B string D as in dog, strum from the D string downward, just like that. Now with these chords, I like to strum it that way, so I've got down, 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 up, and then to D minor, down, 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 up, and then our next chord is going to be E minor, down, 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 up. So let me show you how to play E minor. Second and third finger here, second finger, second fret of the A string, which is B, and our third finger, second fret of the D string, which is E. Strum all 6 strings. Okay, so that's our 3 chord. Okay, G, or E, G, and B, our tonal centers, are 1, flat 3 and 5. Okay, from there we're going to go to an F bar chord. Now, could you play this one, or the one that you kind of pinch? You could. I really like the bar chord in this one. And from watching a lot of live versions of Bob Dylan playing this song, and I'm talking about a lot, I watched a lot of them, he kind of goes back and forth. Sometimes he does this one, sometimes he does the bar chord. I think the bar chord sounds nice and big and strong, so I encourage you. It's always good to practice our bar chord, so why not use it in this song? So we're gonna get our first finger, laying that across all 6 strings at the first fret, okay? Tip of our first finger should be on that F root on the first fret of the E string. We're gonna get our third finger here, third fret of the A string C. Pinky finger is going to be on the third fret of the D string F, and then your second finger is going to be on the second fret of the G string A. Strum all 6 strings should sound like this. And I say it I say this all the time in these lessons, but it's worth repeating. Notice how you can't see my thumb, okay? When we want to build really good, strong bar chords here, make sure that our thumb is on the back of the neck. Why? Notice how when I move my thumb up, see how the hand begins to shrivel. That we don't want. We want a nice, strong fingers and hands. We want them all working together. So placing that thumb in the back of the neck, okay? Pressing through. We don't want to squeeze too hard, but just enough to get really the perfect amount of pressure. Pressing through with those fingers as well as pressing with that thumb that's on the back of the neck. Okay, making sure these fingers are nice and curled and that first finger is nice and straight and not crooked, okay? Something I like to mention with bar chords. I know many of us have problems with it. And when I was first learning, I had problems with bar chords too, so you're not the only one. Okay, we all had problems with it. They're tough. So from there, from that F chord, which is our 4 chord, we're going to go to our 5 chord of G major. So many different ways to play G major. I happen to really like to play it like this. So that's my first finger on the second fret of the A string. That is B as in boy. Second finger on the third fret of the E string G. We have our third finger, third fret of the B string D, and then our pinky finger on the third fret of the high E string G. Strum all 6 strings here. You could do that. I really like this chord. You could choose to omit playing the D note up here and just play the open B string. Nice country version, or you could even just play it like this, which Bob Dylan does quite a bit, is you place your third finger on the third fret of the low E string, so that's a G. You're naturally muting that A string. Okay, we want that, that's okay. Okay, and then you're gonna strum the rest of the strings and you're gonna place that pinky finger on the third fret of the high E string. Okay, doing that, it allows these first 2 fingers to perhaps do a cool little suspension there. So I'll show you that. First finger on the first fret of the B string C, second finger, second fret of the D string E. Release, go back to your G chord. Up to you. Sounds kind of cool. So here's that verse again, nice and slowly. C, D minor, E minor, to F bar chord, to G, whichever one you like. And we're going to strum that for another measure. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay? Or you can do I'll leave it up to you. So I'm going to play through that verse again with the different versions of that G chord at the end. All right, so follow along if you'd like. And again, you're enjoying the lessons, please be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really does help the cause. And if you'd like to check out my Patreon page, link is in the video description below too. All right, so here we go from the top of the verse. So that's our verse. So let's go ahead and go to our pre-chorus here. Pretty straightforward. The first part, we're going to go from F to G 2 times. You can choose to do the bar chords. So just like that. So notice when I went from F to G, we know that F and G are a whole step apart, right? So F, A, and C are the tonal centers of this F major bar chord. And we know that G, B, and D are the tonal centers of G major. So wouldn't it make sense all of those notes are a whole step apart? So you move the whole chord up a whole step, 2 frets for us guitar players, and check it out. All those notes are there. G, D, G, B, D, and G. Music is fun, guys. It's good to learn fretboard so you can see the stuff. So we have F to G, that's going to be repeated 2 times. Play the chords as you'd like them. You can do them open, whatever. Bob Dylan, he mixes it up all the time. Sometimes he even plays the chords up here. It's really cool stuff. So for the second part of the pre-chorus, what's very interesting is now we go backwards. So what I mean by that is in the verse, how we did C, D minor, E, and F. Well, in this next part of the pre-chorus, check it out. It goes F, E minor, D minor, C. So it goes backwards. So that sounds like this. So we've got that F. See how that went backwards? Pretty cool stuff. So you got this descending line with those chords. So you have your 4 chord of F. So went down, 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 up to E minor, same strumming pattern, to D minor, back to C. And that repeats twice. I'll go ahead and play that. So here we go. One more time. And here it is a little faster with the top of the pre-chorus with those F and G chords. Here we go. Here comes that walk down, F major. Repeat. So now, the part leading up into that chorus, we're going to do 1 bar of D minor, to 1 bar of F, to 2 bars of G. So that's how that goes. I'm going to play through that whole pre-chorus again, and then what I'll do is we'll do intro, verse, pre-chorus. Okay, and then we'll end the lesson with the chorus. All right, so here we go from the top of the pre-chorus. Here comes the walk down. where our chorus starts. Okay, so let's go ahead and start from the top. And as always, if you're enjoying the lessons, be sure to click that like button, really helps the cause. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, I've got a bunch of original music out on Spotify and Bandcamp and all of that. I'll have the link there too, so you can check out all of that. And I got vinyl too. It's a lot of fun. So here we go. From the top, intro. Verse. To our pre-chorus, F major. Walk down. So, getting into that chorus, all we're going to do, it's C, F, and G. That's it. Sounds like this. And we repeat that, then we go back into our next verse. So that is the entire song right there. So let's go ahead, run through all of the parts, intro, verse, pre-chorus, and chorus, and then I'm going to give you some options that you can do with other chords. Okay, again, building that chordal syntax is always a wonderful thing, especially when you're playing with other musicians, which is something I would love for all of you to do. You learn so much when you play with other people because we all have such different perspectives with music, and we could always learn something from one another. We never stop learning. We are constant students, constant students. So let's play the whole tune from the top, intro, and I'll call out all the parts. So here we go, intro. Verse. Into our pre-chorus. Here comes the chorus. And at the end of that chorus, okay, you can go ahead and give a couple extra bars to that G major chord. You could choose to just play the chord as is, or if you want to go ahead and do that cool suspension that we did a couple moments ago. I'll leave it up to you. Again, from watching a lot of live versions of this song, Bob Dylan does it a little bit differently every time, which is so lovely and so cool. One of my favorite live versions that I saw, and it's up on YouTube, you can watch it, is where he is playing this with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It's awesome. So I encourage you, really stunningly beautiful version of this song. So be sure to check that out. It's great hearing him play it with Tom, Mike Campbell, and the rest of the guys. It's really great stuff. So as far as options here, could you play this song totally as bar chords? Absolutely. You could play your C major like this, okay, with your first finger on the first, or the third fret rather, of the A string. So there's your C. And then with your third finger covering the 5th fret of the D string, G string, B string. So that's G, C, and E respectively. You can do that, and then you can go up to D minor, let's say. Okay, climbing up the fretboard here, 5th fret of the A string, that's where D lives. Okay, and then playing the rest of the chord as is. Remember, F, A, and C are tonal centers of this chord. Going up to E minor, keeping the same shape, but again, notice how D is here, the 5th fret of the A string. Then going from the 7th fret, so that's where E lives. Okay, remember E, G, and B, tonal centers of E minor. And then going to F from there. Check that out. First finger now on the 8th fret of the A string, that's where F lives. Third finger across the 10th fret of the D string, G string, B string, respectively. So check out how that changes that bit of the verse there. We know that F and G are a whole step apart, so why couldn't you play your G chord right there? 10th fret of the A string, and then 12th fret of the D string, G string, and B string. Kind of gives it a different texture. I'll show you what I mean, and I'll A-B it. And here it is as bar chords. Something you could do there, again, an option. Could you use really cool inversions of triads? You could do all this stuff too, so it is really neat. Again, I always like to mention the notes on the fretboard. This is a map for us to build chords and to really understand how our chords are built and why we are playing them and why they sound so great. So I encourage you, I really like to take the time because I think it's so important to learn the notes on your fretboard, all right? So again, we know that C, E, and G, right, are the tonal centers and the building blocks of C major, but C, E, and G, they live all across the fretboard. So you can play C pretty much anywhere you want, which is neat. If you have those 3 notes lying around, you can go ahead and play them. So things to think about when you are playing, and again, on your musical journey of learning how to play guitar. It's really great stuff. Fretboard is a pretty lovely tool. It's a good thing to know. So I encourage you, take the time to learn it. It's pretty great. So that is the lesson, folks. That is Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. I encourage you, watch a lot of live versions of this song. You can see that he plays these chords all over the place. It's a ton of fun. I just gave you a couple, but I encourage you, go and watch and see. And remember those tonal centers and building those chords. Really fun stuff. As always, I want to thank my friends at Fishman for helping me do these lessons week after week. And most certainly, I want to thank all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for bringing friends. Thanks for being so kind to one another in the comments. I see it. I appreciate it. Thank you all so much for making this a really beautiful space for all of us to learn how to play guitar. And I'm still a student too. I'm still learning. So again, if you're enjoying the lessons, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps the cause. Want to check out all the cool Fishman gear? Link is in the bio. And as always, wishing you much success.